Joining us now live, Speaker of the House of Delegates in Virginia, Bill Howell. Speaker Howell, Merry Christmas. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, John. It's great to be here.
Yesterday, you made a major announcement. You have decided to run for re-election to the House of Delegates in your Stafford County district. I know you had thought about that for some time. Can you share with our audience what inspired your decision to run again?
Well, it's been a real honor for me to have served in the House of Delegates, and it's been a particular honor to serve as Speaker of the House for the last 12 sessions, and I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish over those years. But I realize there's a lot more still we can accomplish. I really feel strongly that Virginia needs conservative leadership at this time. We've got a governor and an attorney general who are working at very different purposes, and we need to stand up to them. And we need that leadership that our caucus has been able to provide. You mentioned earlier that we have a 68-member supermajority in the House, and the House majority has stuck together and in its opposition to a lot of the very progressive liberal ideas that the governor is putting forward. We need to continue that fight. We need to provide more opportunities and choice in things like education. We need to continue to reform government, to cut spending, and so I'm looking forward to another 2 years of being able to work with and lead our caucus.
Well, you know what, Speaker Howell, the other thing is the 68-seat supermajority that you've been able to elect, maintain, and put together. It's a conservative majority. I mean, it's not like you've got disparate groups. I mean, it's pretty much a conservative majority. But the thing is, on one of the biggest issues ever in Virginia, which is Medicaid expansion, which many of us thought was just a additional rollout of Obamacare that would have bankrupted the state and been a complete disaster, you guys were able to stand firm on that. You didn't have a single dissenter. And as you know, it's like herding cats. That was a great job.
I was just really, really proud of the caucus. They did stick together almost exclusively. There was one member who felt differently, but 67 of us hung together, and we got a good, reliable member from the other side of the aisle to help us, and we, on 3 different occasions, were able to show the public clearly that there was absolutely no intention to pass this huge new entitlement program. And it's kind of disappointing, John, that the governor's come back and put it in his budget again. I don't know what part of no he didn't understand, but we're going to have to go through the exercise again, I think. But I have found that with each week passing, there is more evidence and more confirmation that what we did in rejecting the expansion of Medicaid was the right decision. There was something in the paper just last week that about 50% of the physicians, of the doctors who say they take Medicaid, don't really take it. And less than 50% of the doctors say they take Medicaid. So there's a very small portion of physicians out there that are willing to take on these Medicaid patients for some very good reasons. And to think about adding 400,000 people to the million that are already on Medicaid rolls in Virginia is just an incredibly unacceptable thought.
Well, it's crazy. It's a broken system. It needs so many internal reforms, and it makes no sense to expand it. Terry McAuliffe, obviously, he put that in his new plan. He's going to be fighting for it, and we respect his opportunity to keep pushing for that. But it's a bad decision for Virginia, and I think you guys are doing the right thing, and we certainly commend your stance on that. Now, you've got primary opposition, Mr. Speaker, Susan Stimpson, a former Stafford County supervisor. She also ran for lieutenant governor in 2013 and had a pretty decent showing at that convention in May. What's a little odd about this, and so my listeners understand it, Susan Stimpson was your backer. You spent a lot of time mentoring her in a protege style. You funded some of her early campaigns. You knocked on doors on her behalf, made phone calls on her behalf. And now she's turning around and challenging you in a Republican primary for your seat. What happened?
Well, you'd have to ask her that. I've known her for a long time, and I respect her decision. It's a democratic process. Competition's healthy. No one's entitled to the privilege of public service. You have to earn it. And candidly, I look forward to a frank, honest discussion and conversation about my record. Again, this race is about what each of us would plan to do with the problems and the concerns that are facing Virginia. And I think I've done a good job over the past years, particularly in my role as Speaker, of leading the supermajority that we have, keeping us together. As you pointed out earlier, John, it's not always an easy matter, but I've enjoyed working with all of my members, and I look forward to more time to do it. I really do believe that I think when the issues are aired out and we see what our plans and visions for the Commonwealth's future are, I do think I'll be reelected.
Do you feel betrayed?
No. This is she has the right certainly to do this.
Okay, well, it's going to be a very interesting campaign. We have been following some of the things that she has been saying, and competition is a good thing, so we'll see how it goes. The other comment I want to make is we followed her lieutenant governor's campaign pretty extensively in 2013, and I think in talking to her most recently, she's kind of put that behind her, so it's going to be interesting, and I respect the way that you're approaching it. A lot of us look at this race. We all went through the Eric Cantor defeat. There was nobody that really saw that coming, to be honest, except us, except me. That's why we covered it to the extent that we did in media. But there's some differences. A lot of people are comparing the Stimson Challenge to what happened with Dave Bratt and Eric Cantor, but this is really not the same, is it?
Well, I don't think so. Eric was the majority leader of the House of Representatives in Washington, and that part of that job was raising money and trying to build his caucus all over the country. And as you well know, he was gone a very significant amount of time, all crossing the country, doing what was good for the party. I'm in a very different situation. I'm a citizen legislator. Everyone in the House of Delegates lives back home at least 10 months out of the year. We have jobs back home in our community. We live and work in the district. We go to church in the district. Our kids and grandkids go to school in the district. Mm-hmm. And it really helps to have that connection. Every morning when I go to the office, I'll stop at the Wawa and get a cup of coffee, and you always run into people you know. They know you're there. They don't hesitate to come up and ask you questions or make suggestions. People feel free to come into my office, or they see my car out front. It's just a very different situation than being in Washington inside the Beltway. It gives me the opportunity to really know my constituents, to know my people, and they know me.
That is going to be the difference, because I think when you look at the Eric Cantor, Dave Bratt situation, one of the things that really hurt the former majority leader is people in his district felt disconnected from him. And so it sounds like, Mr. Speaker, what you're saying, your constituents don't feel anywhere the same as they did in the Eric Cantor situation, right?
Well, again, I can't speak on how Eric's constituents felt about him, but I know that I make a lot of efforts just to go around and go to Boy Scout events or PTA events or whatever, just so that I'm active and seen in the community. I think that's my job, and I enjoy that part of it.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, let's get to the Delegate Joe Morrissey situation. You called on him to resign yesterday, along with your counterpart in the House, Minority Leader David Toscano, along with Scott Suravello, along with Mark Keem, along with a bunch of others. So Joe resigns, and everybody said, okay, now you did the right thing. And now he turns around and says he's going to rerun for that seat, and he's going to let the voters decide. That caught everybody by surprise, including me. What say you?
Well, it sure caught me by surprise as well. We had discussed not directly with Joe, but with people that were working with him, his attorneys and his partner in the law firm, for him to resign, and I made a commitment to set the special election at an early date so that the seat would not be unfilled during the coming legislative session. And then he resigned, and then 10 minutes later had a press conference and said, "I think I'm going to run in this special election to succeed myself," which I just thought was just really it was really just not right on his part. He indicated to me through his advisor that he was going to resign when he had absolutely no intention of resigning. So that's kind of typical of the way he acts and the things that he's done over the years. I'm very hopeful that the people in his district will find another person to represent them.
In your statement, you said that you found Mr. Morisi's decision to run in this election to be deceitful, selfish, and disrespectful to this institution. But the bottom line is the people of the 74th District have to decide. And what happens if they decide to put him back in there? I mean, it's kind of weird when you'd be making laws during the day and be in jail in the evening. How does that work?
Well, it's not going to work very well for him. I don't know if you saw this morning where the sheriff has revoked his opportunity to leave jail and go do work during the day, his work release, because he had already violated the provisions of it. Joe just can't help himself.
He just can't help himself. He just can't help. So he's going to have to run his campaign from jail. I'm not sure how he's going to be able to do that. Speaker, let's get to Governor Terry McAuliffe, the new budget that he unveiled. What do you make of it?
Well, it's I mentioned earlier, I think it's terribly unfortunate that he's continuing to fight this Medicaid expansion fight by reinserting it in the budget. The budget's not the proper place for it. We had that battle last year, and it's something that needs to be fully debated as it was, and then voted upon, and as you pointed out, it was soundly defeated, not once, not twice, but 3 times in the House, and I'm not sure what's to be accomplished by bringing up that argument again. But he proposes his amendments to the 2-year budget in the second year, and that's the first step in the process. And now the House and the Senate will work on those amendments. They'll accept some, they'll disagree on others, and the House will craft, I'm confident, a conservative, responsible budget. And at the end of the day, I'm confident that the House and Senate will agree, and that he will agree with our work, and we'll be able to get a budget on time and be able to move on with governing Virginia.
Now, Mr. Speaker, what about Governor McAuliffe's new initiatives now on tightening gun control legislation? What's up with that?
Well, I think he's making a political statement for Michael Bloomberg. I really do. Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York, who's a real gun control advocate, spent over $1 million for McAuliffe during his campaign, and I think he's just trying to pay him back. He knows very well the House has been very clear on Second Amendment rights, and he's got to know that gun control is not going to go anywhere in the House, and the proposals that he's making are just, I think, statements pandering to Michael Bloomberg and the left wing of his base.
Going into this General Assembly session, it's the short one. It's only it starts in mid-January, ends at the end of February. What are your top priorities?
Well, we got to get our budget out on time. I think we're looking at things like ethics reform, K-12. We're continuing to work on K-12 reform. Something I'm hopeful we can get forward on. We're still putting together ideas and thoughts. Is continuing to look at pension reform, things we need to do to make the Virginia retirement system more fiscally solvent. You'll recall, John, we made some pretty significant amendments to the plan a couple of years ago, and the result was we cut over about $9 billion in unfunded liabilities, and we still have more work to do in that area. So I think it'll be a lot of different issues like that. There's always a surprise issue, a sleeper issue that comes up. There's a lot of discussion going on about the Uber taxi services and sort of a turf battle between the taxi companies and Uber and Lyft. And I think we've been working on that program proposals already. The Division of Motor Vehicles has come out with some suggestions, and we're looking at those. And so it'll be a full affair, and we've only got 46 days to get our work done, but I think we can do it.
So you got to make it happen. Susan Stimson has criticized your leadership for raising taxes, raising government spending. What message do you have to conservatives in your district? Why should they return you back to the House?
Well, first of all, what she's criticizing are a lot of the solutions that a lot of us came up with to deal with the transportation problems, the transportation gridlock that we have in Virginia, and we had not addressed it in over 25 years. And you know the whole role. We were eating up all our new construction money just on maintenance. We just didn't have the funds. And it's all well and good to talk about cutting spending, and we have cut spending. This is the other thing, John, that she is either misinformed on or has not been forthright on. But as you know, in Virginia, in our budget, it's basically divided into two components, a general fund and a non-general fund. The general fund is the fund that we have complete control over. That's the tax income, the fee income that comes in, and then the spending for K-12 and things like that go out. If you adjust for inflation growth and population growth over the past 10 years, actually the amount of money that we spend is down 4%. So we have cut spending in Virginia. Now, the non-general fund, the things like federal pass-throughs and college tuition payments that come into the non-general fund, we don't have as much control over them. We really don't have any control over them. Mm-hmm. That's grown at a more rapid rate. But when you look at what we have control over, we've actually cut spending over the past 10 years, and I think that's important for the people to know. At the same time, I think we've improved our K-12. We've improved higher education in Virginia. We've improved our transportation network. Virginia is I think, doing very well by and large, and I think we're able to do it in a way where we don't increase our spending, but get more bang for our buck, and that's the important thing. And I think what's important, John, is, again, it's all well and good to talk about cutting spending, and I'm going to slash this and slash that, but you've got to have solutions. Leadership is about solutions. Leadership is about addressing the problems that you have, and then coming up with conservative, sound solutions to those problems, like the transportation package, like reform in K-12 and higher education, like making the tough choices that we've made with our pension plan. That's leadership.
All right, Mr. Speaker, we are out of time. We want to thank you for joining us today. Good luck in your re-election campaign. We'll be following it. If people want more info, where do they go?
WilliamJHowell.org.
WilliamJHowell.org.